New worry tonight for the White House. Democrats were just handed two big losses in special elections, raising the questions about the president's chances in 2012. Joining us is Christina Bellantoni, Associate Politics Editor for Roll Call. Good evening, Christina.
Hi, Greta.
So, is the Obama campaign rattled? Are you hearing anything? Is this in any way, instructive to them in terms of what 2012 could bring?
Well, of course, they're never going to portray that they are rattled, and one of the messages that you're hearing come out of the campaign is that, in fact, they're just very head down trying to build a grassroots organization and focusing on what they're going to be doing next year, trying not to pay attention to, the everyday polls or, what's happening in Washington or who's up or who's down. Those messages, if they sound familiar, it's because they are familiar. This was a lot of what you heard in 2008. They were able to be out in Chicago, sort of a buffer from what everybody was thinking in D.C. But, of course, it's not a very good sign. This is a solidly Democratic district in New York, and the president was, a factor there. It'd be one thing if this businessman Bob Turner was able to win by 1 or 2 points. I mean, he had a very solid blowout win there in a strong D district. This is not necessarily a good sign for Democrats. That said, special elections are very unusual, and Democrats won a whole bunch of them even before they lost the House last year.
Did the Democratic candidate Weprin, did he ask President Obama to campaign for him? I mean, was there any offer to campaign for him?
That's a good question. I don't actually know that. I imagine that if he would have asked, Obama would have been there. But a lot of candidates you're going to be seeing distance themselves from the president in several states. New York probably is not going to be one of them. I'd say in a lot of blue states, they think that having Obama on the ticket will help. Certainly in California, Southern California, some states like that. But I do not expect to see President Obama campaigning alongside of Claire McCaskill in Missouri, for example, who is facing a very tough Senate re-election campaign there.
Which is unusual because she was actually one of the first to come out for President Obama in 2008. I mean, she was right out there. In fact, everyone thought she would go with then Senator Hillary Clinton, and instead hitched her horse to President Obama.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's going to be something that you're talking a lot about, how much has changed from where, some of the redder states that the president could go to in 2007 and 2008 and really, enjoy that spirit of his candidacy is all going to change. Now, that said, the Obama campaign will tell you we're competing everywhere, we're going to build this enormous grassroots army on the ground, even though Indiana, Missouri, these states that were traditional battlegrounds and which he won Indiana in 2008, they say that they're going to compete there, but really they're looking at some of the other states that they need to win, North Carolina, Virginia, Florida being very important, and then obviously the West as well.
Oh, only 30 seconds left. Nevada, what happened?
That was really expected. A Democrat had never held this district congressionally. It was a very, very close race for the presidency in 2008, and it was not a major deal that she lost, although she did lose in a big way.
Well, we're going to be watching in all those states because this campaign is going to be absolutely fascinating. We're going to be glued to it. Christina, thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up, President Obama.